All right, we're back today. We're going to be answering all of your questions about hookup culture. Our
Mm-hmm.
first question is from Al on Instagram, who asks, why do some hookups feel so warm and intimate and others
Mm.
so dang cold and distant? What do you
Mm.
think?
Well, I think that's about the intention and your expectation of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you go in kind of expecting warm and fuzzy and you have somebody who's just going through the motions, it's going to feel gross and distant.
Yeah.
And then sometimes this is what I would always get from my hookups, Matthew. They would always say this to me: "You're so sweet.
Yeah.
You're so sweet." And
Yeah.
I was like, "What?" And they said, "You just love kissing and
Yeah.
you're really into it and
Yeah.
I was like, I think what they were saying was that I was present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I like that you shared that part about the kissing because something that I have gotten over the years had gotten into the habit of is being really clear about what my intentions are. Oftentimes people say like, "What are you into? What are you into?" And a lot of the time, I would feel like I needed to kind of be almost like hypersexual about it, like, "Ooh, I like it. I really like to do this, and I want to kind of throw you down, or then I want you to do this to me, and da da da." Which is like maybe, yeah, okay, I could maybe be into that. But what I'm really into, I'm like kind of vanilla. And I also really love kissing. And so yeah, I'm
Ah.
very passionate about that. And so
Mm.
but I used to feel like, oh, that might be too much for some people. And I thought, wait a minute, that's what I'm actually into.
Yeah.
So I decided to make sure that I was really clear moving forward about
Mm.
what I was really into. And what I found was that people that weren't into that just kind of like maybe kind of trailed off or whatever.
Oh.
But then there was also a lot of people who were like, oh, great. Oh my God, me too, me too. And it
Mm.
helps to kind of open the door and set the tone and expectations a little bit more so that when you're meeting, there's maybe a greater likelihood that you might vibe, you might connect, and there might feel a little bit more warmth of kind of, almost like regardless of what can happen from it. But so I
Hmm.
would say, make sure that you're being really, really clear about it and don't let yourself feel shamed into hiding some of the most intimate parts. Yes. Yes.
I mean, so you'd be like presenting a menu, like, we have some specials today. You had a whole
Yes.
agenda, for the
But
appetizer. There's going
listen,
to be a lot of kissing and hugging,
yeah,
and but
which is
what
hard in hookup culture because of the
because
fact
there's not a lot
that
of talking.
there's not a whole lot of talking, but also there a lot of times can be a lot of fear around the intimacy that's involved in the sexual part of it, right? Like as if that means like
Mm.
that's too feminine, like you need to just be like rough
Oh,
and having sex, and this is all about just kind of doing the
oh.
thing. But when you can actually say like, no, I actually like to feel connected, I like to feel the passion and the intimacy kind of like in just even if it's one moment, like I'm really into that. To
Mm.
say that is a really vulnerable thing, especially as a man, especially because of like
Mm.
toxic masculinity and what we think we have to be in order to be like
Mm.
enough of a man. So it
Mm.
challenges that. But if we're able to challenge that, that does a world of good for us. And it also helps set the tone for a hookup interaction and increases the likelihood for it to feel warm and fuzzy.
I'm just imagining you in the ramble, like in the bushes in New
I've
York
been in
City
the
at three
ramble, but not in the bushes. I've been
at
out in the open.
at 3 o'clock in the morning, going, "Listen, I'm really into kissing. We can get to the rest stuff first, but I really
Tell
like."
me you love me.